Okay, excuse the kid shows on in the background. I've got a sick kid. So what I've done, my turbocharger is leaking oil into the compressor side. I've got a new centre. So what we do, we pull the turbocharger out obviously. We remove these bolts, move the actuator, then we can unbolt the rest of it. So I'll go through all the steps. So yeah, I don't remove my top nut. I undo these here, these bolts, and then slide it down and undo the bottom, so then your lever there sort of is movable. I don't adjust that either, so what I do, I push that down so then you know where the vanes are, so you can line it back up and get it exactly the same. So I'll go through the steps as we go. So I've removed that 2 8mm bolts from there. Then here we've got these 10mm nuts on the cold side and the hot side. Undo them, then the cartridge should just fall out. So what I do to line the vanes up with the old one, see this screw here is your stop screw. So keep it the same. I just push that down all the way, leave it there. Then what I'll do, I'll mark it as I pull it out, and then you get it pretty close. It's all good. So yeah, what we've got in there are the vanes that open and shut. This is where she basically lines up. So what I'll do, I'll put a little scratch here, or you get a text or a pencil and we'll mark it, but that's where she's actually closed all the way, so the turbo spins as fast as it can. That's full boost. So yeah, I just put a couple marks in line with that there. Then what this thing does is actually this. Yeah. So this actually opens and shuts. Oh, I've gone too far. Now I've got to put them all back in. So they obviously have a stop position, but now they're all a bit too far. Gone a bit too far with it. Oh, we're locked again. Here we go. Where are we locked? Yeah, they've got to sort of all go back in. That one's stuck there. There we go. So now that's perfectly shut. Open, shut, open, shut, open, shut, open, shut, open, shut. Hang on. Obviously I remove the hot side first, then I remove the cold side. Now the cold side sort of should just pop out. Should. Here we go, we're getting close. Should get stuck in there. I might need 2 hands for this, so I have to put it down for a sec. So what I was getting oil coming through my cold side. I do run a lot of boost, probably more than this little turbo should put out. So as you can see, there's oil in that little seam there. That on the face of that is all oil. This turbo's only done, it's not that old, but I had it spinning pretty fast and I think I've overcooked it. But yeah, that's all oil residue there. I don't have oil breather going back into my system. It's vented to atmosphere, but yeah, that's basically what it is. It's got a hard little bite in it right there. Sort of wants to stop in the same spot all the time, but yeah, it's not bad. It's just annoyed me. So you can hear it have a bit of a grind there. So I mean, it's still fine. Still spools up. Still does what it's meant to do. But I've got 2 or 3 spares here, so I thought, well, I've got a day off, I'll pull it out and change it. I've had pretty good luck with this brand here. Comes with a little thing, some dodgy Chinese stupid flow chart and vibration. Yeah, they're not bad. Cheap, 120 bucks on AliExpress. They do what they're meant to do, make sounds. So obviously this is your stop screw. We've got to adjust that anyway, so we'll just loosen him right off. Then we're going to line that up with where it needs to be, and a few other bits and pieces. It's a little bit tricky putting it back together. I wish I had a stand for my phone, but I'll try and do it the best way I can. So obviously what you've got in here, you've got a little, you can see that little pin. That pin goes in there, that little hole there. It lines up and stops everything. So what I've got to do a few times, just make sure she's right, is get that roughly where I need it, which is lined up there. So that stop screw was a bit too far forwards. Just turn it back a bit. And then that pin lines up in that little hole there. And what you can do, you can actually feel, so you can actually feel where it stops. So that's lined up now, so we'll move that screw till she stops moving, which is about there. And that's pretty much that stop screw set where it needs to be. So what we'll do, we'll tighten him up, we'll hold that, tighten that up with a 10mm and an Allen key in the end. Then that's the stop screw done. So yeah, if it's not boosting early enough, I'll turn that down. If it's not coming on to boost quick enough, I'll turn that counterclockwise, like half a turn, just to get it perfect. But it's just a bit of trial and error. You also get this silly little thing that's got its vibration crap on it. I personally reckon it's a crock of shit. I reckon they're all just made in some dodgy factory, but apparently it passed. It starts losing its craziness at 150,000 RPM. So just chuck the seal on, your little seal there, goes in a little groove. It's on. Put a bit of oil on that before you chuck it back in the compressor housing. I don't tighten that up until I line it up to where it needs to go. So we'll chuck it on now. I'll chuck a bit of oil in it and then we're good to go. So you do these up just finger tight till you put your actuator on, which lines up to where it needs to be, and that'll be straight in the in that shaft there. So it then you know your outlet's in the right spot. And there you have it, a rebuilt turbocharger. So what we do, we'll bolt that oil return line on the bottom before we put it in. The bolt on the bottom of this flange is a bit of a bastard. I'll also, after I put the return line on, I'll tip a bit of oil through it, clean oil, before I fire up, just because they don't have any oil in them. They're a bit dodgy with the, yeah, so put a bit of oil in it, and then we'll fire up and see how she goes.